very pleased to be here on My Magical Thing with Gabriella Jeans, occultist and artist. Gabriella, it's lovely to have you here.
Hey Julian, it's really nice to be here. What an honor. I think we met in a culture 2018, but it's nice to see you here again on screen.
Well, Gabriella, thank you so much for taking the time to show us your magical thing. And at that point, I must ask, may we see your magical thing, Gabriella?
Yes, you can see my magical thing. So more than one singular object, it is actually a collection of things. So I have made these divination stones. So I'll try and get that as close to the camera as I can. So I made these from stones that I found in Hampstead Heath, which probably most people are familiar with. There are a lot of very, occult goings on over there, and a lot of pagans hang out there. And it feels like a very magical place. It's somewhere I grew up, and it's very close to me. And I made these stones, and let me see. I feel like an influencer. So each one has multiple meanings, and there's another one. So I can't always necessarily remember what they all mean, but obviously with divination, I find that actually suits me quite well, because then it becomes more about the situation at hand, the person at hand. So I do readings with them. I tend to throw a few out of a bag, take a couple out, like pinch them out with my hands. And sometimes I actually go to events with them, and I ask other people to take one, and then I do little impromptu readings, depending on like the place and at the time, obviously. And then I let people take them away. So it's a really fluid kind of connection and collection. Because if somebody takes a few, then I'll just create more, and they're always changing, because sometimes I won't put the same image or symbol back in, and it will be something completely different. So I love working with divination in this way. It's exciting to me. It keeps it fresh, and it keeps it all really relevant. Whereas, I've been reading tarot cards for over 10 years now, and I feel even if I get a new deck, I get these associations in my head, and maybe I can't necessarily see past those associations, and maybe it doesn't keep the reading as snappy or fresh. So when I'm constantly changing the symbols, like with these, I'm constantly having to reframe and make sure that it's not something that I'm just like projecting onto the reader, onto my own reading. So would you like to see maybe a couple up close, and I can
yeah. Show us more. This is lovely, because this is like it's like sortilege, like having a system like the tarot cards, but also like scrying, in as much as it's much more kind of intuitive, and I like the idea of that the collection of stones changes as it goes through its lifetime with you. So yeah, please show us a couple more of those symbols a bit more closely, Gabriella, if that's fine.
Cool. So, obviously being a chaos magician myself, I have a little chaos sphere here. You can tell I'm not an influencer. I'm not used to doing this. And typically when this comes out in reading, I read it as having to shake things up. Maybe there's something you want to change about your avatar. It's definitely time for some sort of change, and it's probably going to be very exciting, and the weirder the better, to be honest. This is oh my god, it's a symbol for alchemy. It's like a test tube. You can see maybe it's got a little A in the center. So this typically comes up when it's time for a self-transformation, maybe more of an internal change rather than with the other stone, which is probably more to do with your surroundings and maybe changing places. One of these, this is one of my personal power symbols, which I've been drawing often, and it was coming up a lot. And then only recently I realized that its traditional uses, it's an Italian sigil symbol used by witches for female power. And I found that really fascinating. But obviously, every occultist has this happen, you know, these symbols that come to us in our subconscious, they're part of the collective unconscious already. And this is one of my favorites. It's EE. I think that might be backwards.
Got it.
But
No, get it.
I have a really lovely cult with one of my best friends, and it's just the two of us. But this is our cult sigil and symbol, and it's called Eternal Emergence. And we have it's a pretty watertight philosophy as well as anything else. And when this stone comes up, it's all based around the topic of emergence. So within a closed system, adding something greater than the sum of their parts. So when this stone comes up, it's probably to be looking for how you can create the situation that creates the best outcome, basically saying like make sure that you're doing everything that you can to be getting the best out of this scenario, whatever it might be. Another one of our key tenets is you have to give in order to receive, and obviously you have to receive in order to give. So if this comes up in a reading, I might say, where am I not receiving? Where am I not giving? Am I feeling a lack mindset, or what's going on here? Like how can I better myself? And you know, is there something I could be giving to someone? So
that's a fantastic collection, Gabriella. Thank you so much for sharing. Has it got a name, the system of divination that you've got?
no, you know what, it hasn't yet, but that's probably something I could work on.
Something to divine, perhaps. Gabriella Jeans, thank you so much for taking your time today to share your magical thing with me. It's really, really appreciated with all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Have a lovely day.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.